Helen, it is so cool to have Ken here as always.
Always.
And we don't record every time Ken comes.
Mm-mm.
Sometimes we just get to have camaraderie and the great fellowship that we've always found in this guy. I remember back when we were starting in the music room, Ken was really one of the first people that contacted us and said, "Hey, I know you're out there," and it was like, well, oh, that's pretty cool. And he came and became a part of what we do dramatically. Mm-hmm. Welcome.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Good to be back. Good to be home. Thank you.
Welcome back.
That is a part of what we do. If you want to,
Yes.
want to get gigs, is you're constantly, and that's a part of. I'm a social person, but I did not learn to, go after the gigs. When you first start doing this, most people think you get good and the gigs come to you, and that's not the way it works. So you do your research, you're constantly studying, you're talking to your fellow performers. It might have been Ian or somebody like that. I'm trying to think of who turned me on to this place.
It could have been Ian. He did the first In the Music Room show with us.
Yeah.
So.
It was probably Ian.
Talk about Ian Dixon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how you find these things.
So let's go back for. I'm going to take everybody here that doesn't know your history back, and let's talk about that. Born and raised on the Gulf Coast,
Partially. My dad was Air Force,
dad
so it
was
was
Air Force.
Yeah,
all over.
he was all
yeah.
over.
but you do have extreme ties to Biloxi, obviously more than just the song.
Yeah.
And tell people, give people a somewhat of a Monarch's note or an In the Music Room notes version of how you started playing music, what got you into it, and kind of your first step out of Biloxi, out of the hometown to play.
I was that kind of little kid. We've already talked about this here. I was the kind of kid who sang songs. And my parents were the types of people who listened to music, and not only listened to music, but we grew up with all those great variety shows, musical variety shows. And my parents watched them, and I was there, and I wanted to be Tennessee Ernie Ford. I wanted to be Nat King Cole. I wanted to be Roger Miller. They were my heroes, and I learned their songs as a little kid, and I was good at. I could carry a tune, so I was good at that, and I never thought it being anything out of the ordinary. And somewhere along the line, when we were traveling around, my dad picked up a ukulele for us because I had two first cousins in Biloxi. They both started picking up ukulele first, and we'd sing together. And so we'd have to learn to play ukulele, which is the first four strings in some ways of a guitar. They're tuned higher, but so that type of thing. So just learning to sing and play, and I didn't think of that as an unnatural thing either. Of multitasking where you're playing a song and singing. It was just it came naturally. Now, to get good, that does not come naturally. That comes with hours and hours and hours and hours of just doing what you're doing and thinking, and my hands are destroyed because of it now. This left hand is killing me.
I know the answer to this question, but they may not. At what point in time did you realize you were going to be a musician for your life?
Probably around early in high school time period, because if you sang and played guitar, you could attract girls.
Yeah.
And it was my social in too. No, it was a social in, and the beauty of constantly moving. You'd move to a new place and you'd meet new people, and you're working with other Air Force kids as well, and they're constantly doing the same thing. So I got the chance to reinvent myself on a regular basis. Yes, wow. As opposed to someone who stays in one town, everybody knows what you did when you were 17. They know that you got in trouble, and I just didn't grow up that way. No. So I got to reinvent myself to the point where the singing and playing was a successful part of my social outreach to the rest of the world and to the girls. And so that's where I really got it. And I knew that's what I was gonna do.
I'm going to extend that question just a little bit. Did you immediately play solo, or did you play in bands to start with?
Both. I played both. I did. I've got a really cool tape I just got digitized. I guess about a year and a half ago, of a folk group I had. We were stationed in Wiesbaden, Germany, and it was a whole folk concert that they had for the high school. So I'm a sophomore in high school that year. And my dad had a reel-to-reel tape and stuck the microphone in front of the speaker and recorded the whole thing. So I got that digitized about a year and a half ago. And I'm in touch with at least a half a dozen people who were also in that concert.
Oh, neat.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's way
That's
cool.
cool.
So obviously your parents were supportive of your musical journey and that becoming your career path. Or is
They knew
that-
I was going to sing these songs. As far as a career path, they had no idea what that was. And I didn't either. But yes, the short answer is yes, they did support me. When I was a senior in high school, I was in a rock band, and we were pretty successful in Northern California. And as opposed to, they would sign me out of school on a Friday so we could go play in a ski resort or all around Northern California.
Nice.
Because they knew that was a possibility for me, and I was.
And you made money.
Yeah, I made money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I kept my grades up. So,
Wonderful.
yes, my parents were not restrictive along those lines. They, as long as I didn't screw up, get in trouble, they supported what I was, my dreams. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know we're going to get to this, but he's got a granddaughter that's following him, too.
Yeah.
Getting to perform with her, aren't you?
Yep.
So, for the most part, as far as the duration of time that Randy and I have known you, you were based out of Houston, Texas. And then just recently, you totally changed all of that and pulled up stakes and went to Oregon City, Oregon. And
Yeah.
that's where you are now. And so you're kind of reinventing yourself again, so to speak. And you're close to your grandkids and your kids, and you have a granddaughter that is
13.
looking to be kind of musical like Gramps.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about where you are right now with everything.
With her,
With everything.
with everything.
Yeah.
Wow. So it was a dramatic move for both my wife and I. She's really digging it too, for different reasons, or for some of the same reasons. But yeah, that was not a territory I knew professionally. The whole West Coast, it was not my territory. I'm fairly well known, throughout the Southeast, the Northeast, the Midwest, Upper Midwest,
Texas.
and Texas, and other parts and Colorado, other parts of the Southwest. So there's places I played regularly and toured. So this was, I can't be the new kid in town because I'm an old fart. So I'm the new old fart in town.
You're the wise man who's
Yeah.
come to town.
Yeah, you got to play whatever works.
And you're playing at the right places, though. We've talked about
Yes.
that. You got the right spots out there to get started.
And I did that research. I was already talking to the people at, there's a venue there called the Artichoke Group, and they're a combination performance venue. They have concert series. They also have a lot of social gatherings there. It's a great place to have your harmonica club come and do, play harmonica on a Thursday evening with nothing else is going on. There's something going on almost all the time there at that place. That's what keeps it going. And they also have a little music store, and they also have rooms upstairs for teaching. And I talked my way into it right away, and I, starting in 1st of February through the end of April, every Thursday night I taught a a songwriting seminar to whoever would come and pay and say, "Who the hell are you? What do you know?" But so I had already researched that, and I was already in touch with the. She was the Shelley Garrett is the now she's the director, but she was the booking director first. So I was in touch with her, and then I got in touch with a couple of people through a mutual friend that are involved with the Portland Folk Music Society. Great concert series, and I'll be on the board here soon for that.
And your son lives in Bend, where they've got a great venue or two as well.
Yeah. So I'm researching, and there are other people that I found online through Facebook or through friends, and even before I moved there, I was reaching out to these people and saying, "Hey, this is me. You can check me out. I'm coming to live in your territory."
A guy that you introduced us to, John Batdorf, lives out there.
That's right.
So.
Yep. Yeah. That's not. He hasn't lived there that long either. He moved out there
from California.
Yeah, from California, Southern California. Yeah.
And then you get to spend this wonderful time with your sons, with your grandkids, with your daughter-in-laws, and all that. So tell us a little bit about the granddaughter that is musically inclined and following Grandpa's footsteps, and kind of what you're doing with her.
Well, first of all, she's going to follow her own footsteps. She is that type of person. She's that type of person. She has a good voice. She has a good musical background. She's been taking violin for 4 or 5 years. Interestingly, she's a lefty, but she's learned violin right-handed. So that was part of what I was going to do was teach her to play guitar. And one of the questions was she going to play right-handed or left-handed? And she's playing right-handed.
Oh wow!
Yeah, but that.
The way she's learning.
Yeah, that's the way. I mean, when you know, this is the motion, and this is the chording hand with a violin and with a guitar if you're playing it right-handed. So she just kind of naturally went to that. She's got a fine voice. She's been very involved school-wise with choral work and theater work, and she's a freshman this coming year, and she got accepted into the high school for performing arts.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So I'm just one little piece of that. But at the same time...
But she's writing songs and performing, right?
Yes.
And what's her name?
Her name is Lorian. Lorian Gaines. Lorian Gaines, I call her, because her first name is Ella. And but she liked Lorian.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we're going to watch out for her. You got to bring her here someday.
Okay.
Yeah, she'll be playing in here before you know it.
She's actually, I teach for the Music Camp for Teens, the Kerrville Festival, and I've done that. I think this will be year 12 for me, and that happens out there at Quiet Valley Ranch, and we get 40, 50, 60. At one time we had as many as 80 kids out there.
Wow.
For a week, running them through a series of songwriting and performance and poetry, and we take them out on the river. And if you want to throw some money at something really cool, send money to the Kerrville Foundation for that, because it is the best thing I do every year. It's amazing to watch the kids just bloom and blossom in such a short period of time. And they have help, not just from the instructors, but there are kids who have been going there for several years beforehand, and they get it. And so these new kids are learning at least as much from the new kids as they are from the instructors. And they get it. And within a night or two, they're just into it. And at the last night, they're crying. They don't want to go home.
Oh, that's sweet.
Or they want to keep doing that. But this year, I'll be flying in as opposed to driving. They'll fly me in, but I'll be bringing Lorian with me. This will be her first year at the camp.
Oh, lovely!
That'll be
That's
cool.
great.
Well, as soon as you can get her here, we'll make it.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I know that Helen and I, we have spent hours with you, hours and hours and hours talking. But there are a lot of folks here that love you that came out today. And so if anybody has any questions, this would be a great time for y'all to ask questions if you'd like of Ken. Something you might want to know, little secrets. He's got some strange songs, but
he didn't do the
Yeah,
black
yeah.
panties.
he didn't do the Black Panties song.
Yeah.
Ken, who would you, you've played with a lot of people in your career and whatever, who would you like to play with next?
Wow. That's a long list, man.
We were talking about future shows here. You know that, right?
Yeah. I don't know how to answer that question. I honestly don't, because I have worked with so many other people. When I was living in Houston, I produced and booked a Songwriters in the Round series for over 20 years at Anderson Fair. Great venue. And so I got to answer that question over and over and over again for over 20 years, every Thursday that we were having that, to the point that, wow, I wish we had Jesse Winchester back.
Yeah, no kidding.
My buddy Jack Williams, I want to share the stage with him again
We want you to.
as soon as we can, as soon as I can. I want to share the stage with more younger people, which I've done. And that's one of the things I want to try to get going up there like I did in Houston, is have a series where I get to bring these people in and they're on stage. I like to have at least 2 other songwriters, and we're on stage together and bring them in. And I want to swap songs with as many young people as I can.
Well, I guess my question is, since you're in a different venue up there, is there somebody that you have noticed or seen perform that you said, I've got to sing with them?
He's bound and determined to get an answer out of you.
Yeah, I know.
I like it, Lord. You need to
Have you
hear
ever
more.
have y'all ever heard David Jacob Strain?
No.
Okay, I met David when he first came to Kerrville I think he was 19. And he was just too damn good for his age, but he's a blues player and he's the real deal. And but I have kind of swapped songs with him because we have a mutual friend. His harmonica player lives up in the Philadelphia area, so they're way out here. But Bob Beach is his name, but David lives in my area, so I think that would be cool, especially if we could get Bob in there, because Bob is. You think about a harmonica as just this squeaky little thing, but he's the tone meister. He really is. He gets such great tone out of it, and so does David. I call them tone meisters, the thing that they do, and swap back and forth. So maybe that's the answer to your question. I'd like to, somebody local there, I'd like to swap songs with David again.
Guys, y'all jump in.
Batdorf, we haven't.
John Batdorf.
Yeah, we haven't been on stage together for a long time either. So.
And you got to meet our friends Jeff and Julie Cater right there
We'll
too.
hook
They're
you
a
up with
hoot.
them.
Good songwriters and a lot of fun, and they're in your area too.
I finally met a guy who's up there. He's one of the regulars. Matt Mean is his name, and he runs around. He teaches at the Artichoke, and so I've been there for 6 months. And you got to meet Matt. He said no, but. Well, Matt goes to Kerrville like you do. I said, I know, and I've never met him at Kerrville.
Oh, how wild.
So this year, here, we finally got together, and met each other formally at the festival.
That might be a nice little relationship fixing to spark up, and y'all might just conquer Oregon,
Well, Ken, there's no doubt that Ken will make his mark.
Oh, I know he will.
Because your music to me is not only it doesn't lock into a region like some people's does, but it's timeless.
Yep.
Thank you. And that's That's intentional. Thank you.
That was your goal.
Yes.
You have succeeded. Woo!
Yep, I know it's always your songs have always stuck with me. Real Men especially.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, thanks for doing that. Yeah. So any other questions, y'all?
Yeah.
The Gig from Hell.
Well, there have been several of those. I mean, you know, the gigs from hell are the ones where you're playing in a bar and somebody wants to come up and grab the mic, or they want to talk to you while you're playing, and it's amazing that exists.
Right.
But yes, alcohol is involved with those things, and that's one of the gigs from hell. Another one that, and I'm a real Jerry Jeff Walker fan, but I opened for him one time, and this was late in his career, and Jerry Jeff was good and sober by that time, but his audience wasn't. And we're in a big pavilion area there in Houston, and I'm the opening act, and then my guitar doesn't work because some of these DI, some of them they have battery in them, and the battery went out in the DI, and the sound man wasn't even listening to me. We did a sound check, and then he did a sound check for Jerry Jeff, and I got up there and I'm playing around, and then my guitar isn't working, and I'm trying to make enough noise for this drunk audience who really wanted me to get off stage so that Jerry Jeff could get up there. So that's another one, but that's part of it. It really is. That's part of the game. Yeah.
When you open for somebody, you realize that you're opening. They didn't come to see you there. And if you
Yes.
I remember the night that Honey House was in here and opened for you and Greg.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, but they made, y'all wanted them to keep playing. But.
Well, no, I remember that was the 'Twas the Monkeys night.
Right?
There they are, right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
Those monkeys were on stage back there,
Right
and,
next to me.
The girls started it when they were opening for Ken and Greg, and they came out and they were so good. And so what did Ken and Greg do? They came out and they opened with the theme to the Monkeys.
Yeah. Here we come,
Hey, with the monkey.
walking down the street.
That's great. We've had a lot of good shows here with you, and mixed you up with some other songwriters, and really giving you a run for your money with one in particular. That is probably one of the most entertaining shows we ever had, and we've had people tell us, "Hey,
we're talking when Alan Hurt was had to come in for Greg Whitfield at the last minute for a Christmas show, and it was the funniest night we've ever had."
Yeah, people still, turn that show on and listen to it if they're in a bad mood so that they can have a laugh.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Ken. We tried to warn him about Alan.
Yes,
Alan,
we
if
did.
you're listening, I know you're grinning like a possum, a certain kind of possum that I won't go into right now. But yeah,
Here for that.
I think you were. Yeah, it was one of those nights that it was hilarious. It was great music, and that's a lot of what happens here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I enjoy that. And I don't know, there might have been some time in the past where that would have just thrown me off. But, and yes, you get thrown off. Somebody like Alan, you finish Razzmatazz, and he's got that look, and he's like,
What the hell was that?
What
the hell was And it's such a dichotomy in personality because he has that goofiness, and then he sings these lonesome,
Incredible
gorgeous
songs.
songs,
Yes.
and he's got a real contrast going there. That's cool.
Yeah.
I will say this though, that once Alan came in, we had to leave them all three together because Greg came back the next year,
Right.
and Ken was ready for him the next year.
Yes,
Oh,
he
yeah.
was.
Oh, yeah.
Paybacks are, you
Yep.
know what?
Yeah, he accused you of picking on him.
He was right. I love performance. I do.
It shows.
Yeah,
It shows.
it
You can
does.
tell you love what you do just by, your delivery, the way you associate yourself with the audience and reel them in, and just your songs and melodies. This is what you were meant to do, and we are the lucky recipients of it. So
It's a two-way street. I'm the lucky person who gets people to.
It's synergy, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, I just have one other thing to say.
one.
What?
Mhm. Other than
Wait a minute.
Other
Do
than
you
you're in the
believe
music
that?
room.
Go ahead.
I think Ken's black and white's going to make the wall.
I think so too.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and we'll do it
But
before
so
you're
I
dead.
can't wear this shirt?
It will be when you come next.
Okay.
You're going to be here. We've got you and Butch Morgan together.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
Wow.
that's going to be
Yeah.
fun.
And when you guys come back, yeah, your picture will be up there.
And that's somebody I will always want to share the stage with. I mean, if you know
Butch.
Claude Butch Morgan,
Oh yes,
okay, just don't miss him.
yeah. He's a jewel. He's definitely
And
unlike anybody
y'all are
else.
very comfortable together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
are. We are.
Comfortable's a good word.
He's one of the people I would tour with, and I have toured with Butch. And touring is,
He's a storyteller boy.
yes, but when you tour, you got to have the right kind of person. It's not just somebody you want to be on stage with. This is why so many bands, they just end up hating each other because it's not the time on stage. They love being on stage with each other,
Yeah.
although sometimes those are upstaging the others because there are egos involved. It's that time in between the shows where you're in a motel room or you're stuck in a bus or, in my case, a van with this person day after day after day, night after night after night. And it takes... I can only tour with some people.
Karen Mall,
Karen was a great
were
touring
fun.
partner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, Mr. Treadway, you said you had one word. You haven't
Already
proved
did.
it to me.
Already did.
No,
No, I already did. Let's talk about the picture. It's your turn.
no, you were
No.
gonna take us out.
Oh, I was going to take us out. Well,
I think you.
if
were.
I'm going to take us out, that means I got to thank Ken again for coming.
Yeah.
Thanks again for coming.
My pleasure.
She's good. She's a good teacher. I also want to thank Helen for being the most incredible wife and friend anybody could ever have. To not only to me, but I mean, she's kind of a friend to every artist that comes in here. She becomes their buddy, and that's
It's easy.
it's easy for you, but it's not easy. And Reno has been with us since the first show at the Texas Theater. We did our first 14 shows at the Texas Theater here, and then we decided we just couldn't get the recordings we wanted and brought it home. But everybody in here, you know I love you, and you know I appreciate you being here. Ken Gaines, thanks for coming. I'll see you soon.
And
You're in the music room.
You are in the music room.
you love what's going on, bring 10 of your best friends next time.
That's right.